Hi guys, how are you all? Definitely has been a while since I've done one of these clips, but a lot of Thais have asked me to do one about, I'll get straight into it, this EPL Prizm. Actually on the date that I'm recording this, there's no further delay, it's coming out in 2 days. It's actually Monday in Bangkok now, and it's supposed to come out Wednesday. By the time the US guys open it, it's going to be Wednesday night. But a lot of people have asked me, especially now there's more and more people into the hobby. A lot of people ask me to do sort of like a short clip going into the details of like the checklist and blah blah blah. So I thought I'd do one just before the product is released, and I wanted to get it out today so you guys can sort of watch the video and decide if you should join the breaks, buy a box, if you were going to join a break, which team should join based on the budget. So I've sort of put all the information together, and I'll try to go through everything that I think is relevant. So let's just slowly go through everything. I wanted to get this out of the way straight away, which is a lot of people ask me, which is the case hit. Now I've got it down as case hit possibilities. As you know, Panini never gives out an exact case hit list. They did back in 2016 with the aficionado, but since then they haven't. These are usually breakers or people who join breaks or make predictions based on the cases they have seen. So what I've put down is that, well, first of all, I assume that all deals are going to be case hit. Maybe not all, but most. The smaller team duels maybe not, but I am assuming that they will be. And of course, the Henry, the Pulisic, definitely. The Shevchenko, which is a signer for Chelsea, I've got it down because Shevchenko is a maybe. Same with Havertz. Disregard that he's not playing at all or he's not playing well. I've got a small feeling that Panini will actually make him a case hit because it's the first time they've got his autos, because he did sign for Tops a while back in the Bundesliga Museum, I think a couple of years back, but I assume that Panini might. Definitely CR7, Beckham, Cantona, which was last year, and I've put Rooney in as well because he hasn't signed for a while, but when he did sign, for example, the first Immaculate, he was a case hit, so I'm assuming Rooney's going to be case hit again. First time signer that a lot of people are going to be chasing. Some, I've got him down as a case hit as well. And at the very bottom, I've got Bale. Now, Bale's a tricky one because sometimes he is, for example, Noah, 2016, he was a case hit. Lately, he hasn't. But because of the possibility of case hits in EPL, Prizm isn't the same as other Panini products. So I'm going to put him down. Like last year, Suarez for Liverpool was a case hit, which typically Luis Suarez really is not a case hit. As you can see, I did not put Fernando Torres as a case hit because he has never been a case hit, even though, again, this year he's with Chelsea, not Liverpool, but I did put so these are basically the case hits that, if you join a full case breaks, these are probably the players that you'll be looking for to see if they've hit or if you should join. Another point I wanted to mention before we go into the checklist is that the Kabooms and the Color Blast. Now, the Kaboom, this one Declan Rice is from last year, okay? So don't mistake it from this year. But the Harry Kane is the Color Blast from this year. Now, Kabooms are one per case. Last year they were anyway. I've been told that this year again they are one per case. Might be a good idea to study who the Kabooms are because, well, when this product first came out last year, the big players Kaboom were selling well. The smaller ones weren't as expensive, but since then, most of the Kabooms for most sports have taken off. Don't ask me why, but the prices for Kaboom have gone up significantly. So if you're joining like a PYP, then study well who the Kabooms are, because even for the smaller teams, they are going to sell well. I also wanted to touch on the color blast. Now, last year it was very hard to hit a color blast. Don't count me in on this, but I think last year was 6-1 or 11-1. Very hard to hit. I'm talking about just the base, not the power go to 5 or the 1-1. I'm talking about the actual color blast. Now, I've been told this year it should be easier to hit the color blast. Again, if you're joining PYPs, you're chasing this color blast, then study the checklist well, because these two types of cards might actually give you some profit, or you might make some money off them. It doesn't have to be the autos, because a lot of people have been talking about autos in Prizm. Now, Prizm isn't always about the autos. I know other sports it's not, but even for soccer or football, whatever you want to call it, the autos aren't anything. These kind of inserts might actually give you a better return as well. So that's why I wanted to mention, especially that I've been told, a lot of people have been saying that color blast this year should be easier than last year. So, but I guess in 2 days we will know. Another type of inserts that sells well. Now, the Arsenal is from last year. The Liverpool logo is from this year's, which I got off the sales sheet. The stadium is also from last year. Now, why did I put those in? Because even though when this product came out last year, many people didn't pay much attention and they were going for very cheap. Now, breaks cost last year was a lot cheaper, right? And I joined a lot of breaks for Liverpool. And being myself lazy, I didn't sell off much of the logos of the stadiums. Once I got around to going through what I had, and of course the market has taken off, they actually went for good money, believe it or not. So again, I know a lot of breakers that made these logo spots and other spots a separate spot. So again, if you're in it for making profit or flipping, which no one's judging you, then maybe these kind of spots might actually make you some money as well. But do beware that they have a new insert called Atmosphere. Now, I haven't seen the pictures because Panini has not put out the blog of all the actual pictures. But apart from the stadium, the logo, the Atmosphere, which I assume will have like crowd pictures or something, I don't know. Those might be sought after as well. Doesn't have to be just the power gold or the 101 or whatever. I don't even know they have the 101s, but even the base might actually make you some money as well. So that's why I wanted to put these in as well, that these kind of types of cards people do chase to collect, trying to make the set, trying to get for their favorite team. That's why I put these in. But most importantly, why I did this clip was that I wanted to go through the checklist. Now, I will try to go through as much detail as I can. I did do a little bit of a note because there are a lot of players. And again, this is based on my opinion, and my opinion alone, based on, because I watch a lot of soccer and I watch a lot of EPL. So I wanted to go through and see what would be a good team to break. And after I go through a checklist, I definitely have like sort of the average break price of each team. So that's also for you to do. But let's just go through this. Now, starting off with Arsenal. Arsenal has a ton of autos, but I think one of the cards that people might want would be the Chess Fabregas, because there aren't that many autos of him in the Arsenal jersey. And what I liked about this auto is that the Anelka flashback, because if you watch soccer long enough, Anelka started with Wenger, brought him into Arsenal, so I thought that was kind of cool that they do have him in the Arsenal jersey. And of course, people are going to be chasing the duo of Aubameyang, Henry, and all that. And with Arsenal, most guys probably already know that people are going to be chasing the Saka, because that's his first Prizm card, and he actually has like the inserts. So Arsenal is pretty much standard. Everyone knows what people are chasing: the Saka, the autos. Disappointed that they did not have a Martinelli or the Emil Smith Rowe. Have no idea why Panini put in, especially Martinelli, because he's been part of the first squad. Granted, he was injured towards the end of last season and this season, but he was actually part of the first squad from last season. So that would have been nice to have Martinelli in the list as a base card, but they didn't put it in. Point to make. I mean, Tierney, I know they had the extended base for the Chronicles, but this one actually might have some parallels for people to chase. So Tierney could be another one as well. But like I said, I'm disappointed there's no Martinelli or Emil Smith-Rowe in this, but people are going to be chasing Saka anyway. So that's Arsenal for you. The rest are just standard stuff, so I'm not even going to go through into that. Some teams I'll go through really quick. Some teams I won't. Now, for Villa, I've got to look through my notes as well. For Villa, kind of funny to have Robert Perez there and Brad Friedel. I mean, Brad Friedel's alright, but Robert Perez as Villa. I think probably people will just have it. I'll chase his orders as part of the collection. I doubt it'll be anything big. Villa sort of, Grealish is not the first Prizm, so that won't be much. There is a point to make that the Konsa, the defender, a lot of chat have been talking about him, but again, as a defender, I don't know if he'll bring much value, but I assume some people will chase or will speculate. And also the Villa forward, Ollie Watkins, he's been playing well. Top material rookie chase, probably not, but given based on a checklist as to what Panini has brought out, then I would say those probably, maybe Matty Cash playing pretty well as well. So maybe those are the type of players on the base that might bring you value. Basically trying to see what's the best cards available for Villa, and those three players are probably your best bet. Brighton. Now, a lot of chat been on going on about Ben White, who moved to a big club. Liverpool seems to be interested. A lot of big teams seem to be interested. Then again, a defender. Don't know long term it's going to bring you much value, and I'm not even going to talk about Aaron Moore's order because he's basically the only one that's always signing for Brighton. But I know Brighton has a lot of fans, so they will definitely, and Brighton usually isn't expensive, so probably a lot of the fan base will take Brighton anyway. But based on the list, then what stands out for me would be Ben White or he's gone off the boil a little bit, which is Tariq Lamptey. I think he got injured and he got off the ball, but aside the season, he was playing really well. Youngster, sort of like a wing back. So then again, if I was forced to take Brighton, then I would probably chase Tariq Lamptey. But that's, again, all these are my opinion, but based on what the Panini put out. Because as a wing back, he might, similar to Alphonso Davies of Bayern Munich, he actually might play further up in the future rather than a central defender such as Ben White. Because, to be honest, the last defender to win the Ballon d'Or was Cannavaro, and that was a long time ago, 2016. Van Dijk came close, but like I said, 2006, that was Cannavaro. So if I had to choose, then I would probably go with Lamptey because he might have some potential. But based on what Honey put out for Brighton, Burnley, sorry other Burnley fans, but it's probably good to have like a Chris Wood auto or a Lafferty or a Nick Pope, but then Pope's everywhere. So Burnley sort of, I don't know, the rest are sort of expected of what Burnley will put out. So Burnley, I'll probably have to go for like the Kabooms or the Color Blast, probably my best bet, which is Jay Rodriguez and Jay's a Kaboom. The Color Blast Nick Pope Color Blast actually might do well. Chris Wood, probably, maybe the New Zealanders might chase Chris Wood, but that's about all for Burnley for me anyway. Chelsea, I already said that. They've got Shevchenko as an auto, Fernando Torres with Chelsea, Kai Havertz. This is going to be the first Havertz auto in a Chelsea kit anyway. Like I said, even though he's not playing, you also got Anelka, so Anelka signing both Arsenal and Chelsea, typical Panini. They put the sticker down of Lassana Diarra because I think he had a ton of autos in Aficionado, so they brought his sticker backs, and Sean Wright-Phillip. Stands out for me, probably the card that people are going to chase is going to be Billy Gilmore. He was getting a lot of game time under Lampard, not a lot, but he was. Now with the new manager, as we see, maybe he'll be loaned out, I don't know. But in terms of rookie, then definitely Billy Gilmore for Chelsea, that stands out. For me, I mean, unless you're going for first Prizm of Hakim Ziyech, that's his first Prizm. Kai Havertz's first Prizm as well. I mean, if you're going to go into details, not actual RC card, but first Prizm cards, and those two players are also first Prizm cards. What I would like to have would be a Mason Mount color blast. That would be cool, huh? I definitely think those cards are gonna be big money. I mean, Pulisic, of course, because being like a USA player, but Mount color blast could be big as well. So if you're doing PYP, it might be worthwhile chasing the Mount, even though he doesn't have an auto, but he does have a color blast. So that's what stands out for me as well. Werner as a Kaboom, probably 6 months ago, I would have said yes. Now, I don't know, is he the real deal, or maybe he's just had... You've got to give him time. Foreign players in the EPL, it takes time to adapt. So, maybe it might be good to hold on to his Kabooms, and maybe in 6 months or next season when he explodes, and these cards will go up. So, yeah, I would say if I had the chance to have a few of the Werner Kaboom, then yeah, definitely, even though he's not playing well. But Chelsea's loaded with autos. They're up there with Arsenal and Man U and all that. Palace, definitely not Nathan Klein's auto. Sorry to say, no disrespect to Palace. A lot of debate. Some people are saying Eze, or whatever, how you say his name, is good. Some people say he's not. So, like I said, based on what they put out, then this is what stands out for me to chase Eze's base card. That is probably the bunch for me. Ayew Colbas, sorry guys, but too old. Workhorse, good player, but definitely not a player to invest in. Saha, Kaboom. Seems like Saha has missed the boat of going to big clubs. Every transfer window, there's a story that he's moving. He hasn't. He's good, but unproven the big team. So, based on this, I would have to go with Eze base. Pretty much it for Palace. Like, again, sorry to the Palace fans, but I'm just going based on the checklist here. Everton, probably as disappointed as Liverpool. I mean, at least Liverpool has an RC. I mean, if you go to Everton team, then you will be Pickford, Funes Mori, which is sticker done from Black Gold, I think, 2016, which Panini has put down. Aaron's not getting any game time. Bernard's supposed to be on a transfer. If I had to pick, then of course, DCL, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, he has a color blast, he has a Kaboom. So that would be the spot that I would take in PYP or pick your player. The rest, James Rodriguez, Gylfi Sigurdsson, doesn't really do it for me. Richarlison had a color blast last year. Maybe Richarlison if you force me to pick another player, but based on Everton, then it's all about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. There's nothing here, man. I mean, unless you like defenders and you go for Yeremina, which always scores a goal from the corners, and there's just not much there for Everton. Fulham, I mean, it's quite nice that they actually put Brian Ruiz in there. I mean, I know he has all the sticker autos. He's had autos since treble with the sticker autos, a World Cup Prizm autos, but at least it'll give some of the Fulham fans something to chase, because the Kaboom is Mitrovic, who isn't even playing now. So that's probably your best bet for Fulham. I mean, it just doesn't do it for me, Fulham. Probably sort of like a team that you just take to participate. Unless Tom Caney, probably Calabas, I don't know. Fulham, I'm just going to skip it because there isn't much in the Fulham. Leeds, I know Leeds have a lot of supporters and a lot of followers. Jack Harrison, maybe. I mean, he's had card before. He had color blast. Calvin Phillips is probably the card that people want to chase. I know he's a sort of defensive midfielder that gels a whole team together. I saw a stat the other day watching the game that, when he doesn't play, Leeds don't win very often. So, I mean, and he is part of the England squad. So I would say Calvin Phillips would be the base card that I would chase. And today, someone told me that Tyler Roberts is a true rookie, and he just started a few games, and I think I've been told that he's Welsh, so maybe that would be another base card that you chase or to invest in based on Leeds. I mean, Bamford is hot right now, but with his age and with England so talented up front, I doubt Bamford will make a big breakthrough or his cards will go up a lot. I could be wrong. There have been late bloomers in football or soccer, but based on this checklist, I'm going to have to go with Calvin Phillips and Tyler Roberts for Leeds. Now, what else we got? Leicester. I mean, I like it that Madison people are going to want these orders. I like it that they brought back Casper Schmeichel's order. I mean, that at least will give some of the Leicester supporters. I mean, a lot of Thai take Leicester because it's Thai owned, but at least that's something to chase because, I mean, Jose Perez is a color blood, sort of like a downer. Vardy, I expected, and Casper Schmeichel's Kaboom was sort of expected based on their squad, but Jose Perez as a color blast, I don't know. But it's not Harvey Barnes' first Prizm as well, so that won't be much. Luke Thomas, he actually played us. I mean, Leicester lost, but I was doing this clip. But Luke Thomas is also a youngster, so I mean, if you want to speculate and invest, then Luke Thomas would be one of the players that you might keep an eye on. Definitely not Johnny Evans, but again, that's about all for Leicester. Liverpool. What a checklist. How bad is this? In one sentence, all Liverpool will be the Curtis Jones base cards. I mean, they do have the Neco Williams, but he's not even playing. You don't even know if he's going to make the cut or not. Curtis Jones actually scored a goal last night when I was doing this tape. So Liverpool's going to all be about Curtis Jones. You know, we don't even have to talk about the autos. It's terrible. So, and I mean, of course, it's Liverpool. So like the low parallel of Salah, Mane, all Van Dijk, that's going to sell. But you know, honestly, how many cards have we seen of these players? So with the break price, it's all about Curtis Jones. So, but like I said, Liverpool, based on past experience, the Anfield insert stadiums, the logos do sell well. So if people doing PYP, the Liverpool other spots with the stadiums and the logos might be a good bet for you rather than take the whole team because, you know, it's expensive and you're basically chasing Curtis Jones. Strange how they put out the worst checklist for Liverpool. I mean, they couldn't even put Diego Jota's base in there. I mean, they put it in immaculate, but it's not here, so I don't know why. I mean, Joe Gomez has emergence. I mean, I think he's been in the first team squad for 4 years, and they're still emerging. Funny. Same with City. They couldn't put Fernando Torres base cards in, so go figure why. But kind of nice. They got Bernardo Silva, first time signing for City as well, so some people might chase that. I mean, Eric Garcia would have been nice, but he's moving to Barcelona as I do this clip. Supposedly he's supposed to be moving. But then City, apart from that, then it's KDB, Color Blast, and Kaboom. Those would always sell. Phil Foden, he was in EPL last year, so this isn't going to be his first card. So basically, City would be Bernardo Silva and the KDB stuff. Apart from that, I mean, unless you want to bet on Rodrigo or Tommy Doyle, but not for me. If it was down to me, I would go after KDB and PYPs or Bernardo Silva just as, you know, as a collection. The rest is sort of expected. Man U, I mean, it won't even fit in one screen. Tons of autos. My problem with Man U is that there's so many autos that could be case hit, so you're sort of like cannibalism, I think that's a word, yourself, and you're taking Man U as a whole team, meaning, I mean, if you hit a Beckham, you're not going to hit a... I mean, if you hit a Beckham, you're going to be happy. Let me say again. If you hit a Rooney, then you're not going to hit a Beckham or a CR7 or a Cantona. Or even worse, if you hit a Cantona, then maybe you're not going to hit a CR7 or Beckham. In the same case, that is, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. I mean, they have Brandon Williams, but again, has he really broken through? Probably not. But the fun part about Man U is that there's so many autos and a lot of breakers broken down to a lot of combinations. So the good thing is you can chase after your favorite player. That's a good part about Man U, because there's a ton of autos, and I love it how they also put a ton of base card as well. So Man U is like huge, you know, and you'll probably all know this, so I don't have to mention it. But apart from the autos, then it's all going to be about Greenwood, isn't it? I mean, the base cards, the color blasts, and even the inserts. Kind of sucks that he isn't playing well this season. Otherwise, you know, the Greenwood spot will probably be a lot higher, and hence maybe my Liverpool will be lower. But because he isn't playing well, a lot of breakers have not listed as expensive. Maybe it'll go up. You know, this is the initial stage. But apart from the autos, everyone's going to be chasing Greenwood. Definitely, his cards has the potential to skyrocket. So why not? Moving on, Newcastle. Don't even get me started on the autos. I mean, bringing back Toy which signed in aficionado, and then to have his autos here is just a joke. But Newcastle just has nothing. No disrespect. I mean, Newcastle is a big club, but in terms of their squad, they just, I mean, Jamal Lewis, but then again, he was in last year, right, with Norwich, so that doesn't count. And then the rest is just sort of players that have been in the product. I'm not talking about if they're good or not good, but I'm just saying that even Ryan Fraser was last year, had a base in Bournemouth, I think it was. So these are all maybe just down to Newcastle as a team, but we're just probably the team that's most for the Newcastle supporters or the collectors rather than invest in this team, for this Newcastle team. Sheffield United. The second season syndrome, that they are definitely going down. I mean, a lot of people have already mentioned that they would love to have a Billy Sharp auto. So there you go. That's one for you. Aaron Ramsell, goalkeeper, youngish. You know, I mean, assume if they do go down, he might get sold because he's young. A lot of teams might be chasing after him. So maybe Aaron Ramsell base. But then again, how much is a goalkeeper base card going to go up? The answer would be not much. The rest, well, it's Sheffield United and they're going down, so probably team that will be in a filler, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the supporters might take it, because from what the prices I've seen, the price aren't that bad for Sheffield United. But I'm just moving on. Quickly, Southampton, I love it how they have Shearer there, you know, where it all started. I hate it how they have Walcott, because Walcott's in every product. So it's kind of getting a bit old to have Walcott everywhere. But again, Southampton is another team that has a lot of supporters. Now, I've talked to some of the supporters and they say Will Smallbone is pretty handy. So maybe this RC Will Smallbone, honestly, I have not seen him play, so I can't judge. But there's a big Thai supporter of Southampton and they say that he's pretty good. So maybe that would be the card. But again, looking at this, Southampton is probably most likely team for supporters. I mean, you could chase Danny in Kaboom and Color Blast, but with the news that he might be on the move again, he hasn't signed a long-term contract, and maybe he won't be staying Southampton for long. So I don't know. Spurs. Do I need to say anything at all? Now, Spurs are all about Sun's auto. First autos, we don't know how short print it is. We don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, in terms of the card. But that's all Spurs is about. That's why Spurs break costs is crazy. I mean, plus Sun has a color blast. So, you know, Sunspot in PYPs deserves the price that people are listed at. Kind of sucks that have Dele Alli as a Kaboom, because he's back playing now a little bit, but he hasn't really taken off. Kane Color Blast will be cool to have. So that will be good. But the rest, Spurs is just all about Sun and his autos. My concern is that how short print is his autos. I mean, I know the cards with parallel will have numbers, but I'm talking about the base autos, because base autos in Panini do not have numbers. So I have no idea if it's 250, 200, or 199. So that would be my concern. Do I want one? Definitely. Will I pay over the moon for it? Probably not. So I'll probably see how hard it is to hit before I take his spots. In breaks, West Brom, the team with no autos, and has Jake Livermore as a color blast and Matt Phillips as a kaboom. Well, West Brom is West Brom. I'll leave West Brom to the supporters because unless I get them in a filler, I doubt I'll be taking West Brom in any breaks. No disrespect to the teams. I don't know, just doesn't do it for me. West Ham. Strange that they put a lot of players that play under 30 games for West Ham. I mean, I think Everett played like 5 or 6 games. I mean, he moved from a club where he got fired by kicking a supporter. Lama again, I don't know, maybe they have a ton of Lama autos left. And Razvan Rat. Kind of sucks that they put these players in for West Ham. Antonio Kaboom. Kind of funny that I have Haller as a color blast where he's already moved to Ajax, not even a loan, a permanent transfer. So, me, West Ham, the only player, Jared Bowen. In case he moves to a bigger club, then his first Prizm cards or his first kind of cards might take off a little bit, especially if he goes to a team like Man U or Liverpool. So, if I had to pick out of this bunch for West Ham, then I would go Jared Bowen. Base all day. The rest is sort of just funny to have. No disrespect to West Ham, just funny orders out. But my pick would be Jared Bowen. Wolf. Now this is a good team. I did something right. They put Podence. I think that's how you pronounce it in English. Autos in, so I think a lot of people are going to be chasing that. And Raul Jimenez already has his fan base, so that would be cool as well. Fabio Silva is a player that interests me a little bit. Why? Because he's only 17, 18. He's had a few starts, he's been hot and cold, but you've got to give the kid a break. Like I said, he's 17 or 18. So Fabio Silva might be some of the player that I might hold on to some of his cards. And of course, a lot of people now are chasing Pedro Netos as well. So Wolf is actually a good team that when you compare the break price, that they do have sort of all kinds of elements that might actually be good to take in breaks. And I'm not even a Wolf supporter, so Wolf is definitely a team that does interest me based on what I've just mentioned of those players. It could be a good team to take. So that's all the 20 teams. And just before I bid you farewell, I did this. Again, these are the prices that I averaged out based on the breakers that have listed their price. I'm not going to say who's cheap, who's expensive, but this is sort of the cost, of course, in US dollars based on a full case break. As you can see, it's expensive. Definitely expensive. The market has gone crazy. I think the pre-order box for hobby is like $800. The first of the line, a lot sold at around $840 to $780. I think the bulk of it sold out at $780. So that's the price for the first of the line. But like I said, stands out for me is Spurs. Of course, that's what I mentioned before because of the Son Heung-min order. That's why Spurs are expensive, usually very cheap Spurs. Liverpool with nothing is still damn expensive. Don't ask me why. Like I mentioned before, Wolf might be a good team of value. See, with the players I mentioned, it's always 350 to 450 compared to Liverpool, for example. Even Chelsea, relatively, I mean, everything is expensive here, but Chelsea with the number of autos that they have is another team that seems reasonable. But the big question that a lot of people are going to ask me, my concern is it worth it? How are you going to make your value back? Again, my opinion, hard. Very hard. I mean, if you look at Manchester United, if you take Man U, let's say $1,700 to $2,000, right? Best card for Man U, probably in terms of auto, would be David Beckham. Now, latest before I did the video, a Beckham milestones for Immaculate went for around $6,000. That's 225 with no parallel. If you ask me now, which I could be completely wrong, the market has gone crazy, but a Beckham Prizm auto, a base Beckham auto, probably fetch you around $3,000, $4,000, and that's the best card for Man U in terms of base card. I mean, autos, not counting Greenwood. So my initial reaction now is that based on the break price, I'm just going to switch back to my screen, which is easier to see. Based on my initial break price, hard to make your value back. Might be wise to try and join PYP breaks, but do I expect prices to go down? I did say before that Immaculate I expected to go down 15-20%. It hasn't gone down further than that. Impeccable has not gone down. My problem would be that the market has gotten so big with so many investors and collectors trying to join that it's still driving the prices up. People are still joining break. So if you go back to the basic supply and demand, there's still a lot of demand in the market. So I mean, I would love to see it go down to, let's say, about 450, 500 bucks. If it was down to around that price, and I would definitely join a lot of breaks. But when it's 700, 800, kind of hard to make your value back. But what can you do, right? There's still demand in the market for products. Eventually, it will go down. Will it go down to the level of Euro Prizm? I don't think so. Again, I could be wrong. My logic is that this product has a lot more cards that you could chase that would make your money back than the Select Euro. And that's why I think if it does go down, it's not going to go down to the level of Select Euro. But we shall see. So a long tape because I have to go through a lot of information. I hope you guys found it useful. I hope you liked it. I hope I'm right and wrong in many ways. Wrong in terms of prices, that it does go down. We could break a lot more. I hope I'm right that a lot of cards will go up and you guys will make a lot of money or get the cards that you collected. So if you do like, just, follow my IG, subscribe to my YouTube, join my group, whatever. But point is, hopefully a lot of you guys, especially the new guys, would find this video useful. So until then, take care, guys.